Here are some of the most horrifying mythical creatures to ever exist. Or not exist, hopefully. Part 3. Deep in the Arctic, just beneath the ice, you might catch a glimpse of a horrifying creature known as the Qallupilluit. At first glance, this monster might appear to be just an Inuit woman, but if you get the chance, look a bit closer and you will see that she has webbed hands, fins and scales, slimy pale green skin, and needle-like teeth. These creatures hide among the ice floes and make a beautiful humming sound to attract children to the water's edge, where the Qallupilluit can grab hold of them and drag them under the waves. Some stories say the stolen children are simply drowned and mercilessly devoured, while other stories tell of the Qallupilluit keeping the children alive in the pockets of her coat, where they would help keep her immortal. As the child grows older, the Qallupilluit grows younger, feeding off the child's life force with her strange magic until the child dies. These creatures are impossible to kill when in their natural state, but if you're clever, you can trick them into making themselves vulnerable. Simply ask them to show off their incredible shape-shifting abilities and convince them to transform into a whale or a seal. For an Inuit hunter like you, these animals are easy prey, and you can bring the Qallupilluit home to your family to eat for dinner. If you don't want to be a victim of the Qallupilluit, you should hit that subscribe button and like the video. It's free and it really does help to keep this channel possible. If you thought that was horrible, hold on tight to your spears and pitchforks because the Qallupilluit is actually the least scary creature in this video, and things are about to get very bloody. The Teke Teke is different from the other creatures in this video. Originally, this monster was a young schoolgirl living in northern Japan. One night, she was standing on a train platform after school when her classmates decided to play a cruel, practical joke on her. They snuck up behind her and placed a cicada, a small insect, on her shoulder. This freaked the girl out, and she tripped and stumbled onto the tracks. Injured and disoriented, she couldn't get out of the way as her classmates laughed at her and the oncoming train rushed towards the platform, and no one answered her desperate cry for help. The train cut her body clean in half, severing her legs from her torso. Even worse, the injury didn't kill the girl instantly, and her classmates, horrified by what they had done, ran from the scene, leaving her to bleed out alone on the train tracks. She continued to cry out for help, but the train station staff were so disturbed by what they saw that they simply threw a plastic tarp over her body and left her to die. But the girl's story didn't end there. Now she haunts Japanese train stations at night as a vengeful spirit, crawling on her hands and elbows, dragging her severed torso across the floor as she searches for victims. Her long, dagger-sharp claws make a scraping sound as she crawls, giving her the name Teke Teke. She will chase you with alarming speed and use a bloody scythe she carries to kill you, cutting your body in half to mimic her own disfigurement. Even though my channel is starting to get really big, thanks by the way, I still try to read every single comment I get, so let me know in the comments what video you want to see me do next, and I'll add it to my list of horrifying ideas. Speaking of horrifying things, sponsorship jump scare! World of Warships is a free-to-play, massive online multiplayer game with over 850 ships available for you to fight teams from across 13 different nations. Destroyers, cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers, submarines, this game has it all. The ships are designed based on real historical documents and blueprints from the first half of the 20th century, so if you're a fan of historical accuracy, you're in the right place. With updated visuals including genuinely beautiful water effects, lighting, weather, and new maps, this game looks just as good as real life. You can play by yourself or team up with your friends, and with new updates every month including new ships, nations, events, and cosmetics, this game will give you months or even years of fresh, entertaining naval battles. Whether you haven't opened the game in a while or you've never played before, now is the perfect time to give World of Warships a try. Use my link in the pinned comment or video description to gain access to 20 days of a premium account and all the other perks listed on screen. Thanks to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. The Choctaw are an indigenous people of the southeastern woodlands of the United States, and their mythology tells tales of strange beings made of shadow and darkness. These creatures can take many disturbing forms, such as the being known as Nalusa Falaya, whose name translates to long black creature. There once were two brothers who were so lazy that they didn't help their tribe with any of the work. Their father was a gentleman and allowed them to play and enjoy childhood, but he did make them follow one strict rule. They weren't allowed to enter or go anywhere near the Forbidden Forest, or Nalusa Falaya would get them. One night, the boys' curiosity got too strong and they went walking in the forest. They could hear the wind rustling the grass blades and the toads croaking in the trees. Eventually, they found a lake and realized they weren't alone. Standing in the lake was a monstrously tall, thin humanoid figure. Its limbs were disturbingly long, and its face, though human in structure, was too smooth. They realized the entire forest had gone completely silent around them. The boys glanced at each other for only a moment, but when they looked back, the creature was gone. They both agreed that what they saw wasn't a hallucination and kept walking. They came upon a log blocking the path, except it wasn't a log. It started to move and stand upright, and they realized it was the creature, Nalusa Falaya, the being their father had warned them about. They ran as fast as they could back through the forest, but it seemed that the tall humanoid figure stood behind every tree they passed. Finally, they made it to the edge of the forest, but when one of the boys turned around, he realized that his brother no longer ran beside him. The next day, the whole tribe went out looking for the lost brother, but his father only shook his head sadly. He knew that his son was gone forever, taken by Nalusa Falaya. A Jikininki is a disgusting creature from Japanese Buddhism that feeds on the corpses of the recently deceased. They usually dwell in abandoned temples and ruins of ancient buildings close to human cities and villages. Their physical appearance is described as human-like but monstrous, with bulging eyes, discolored skin, and yellow-stained pointed teeth, which they use to peel the flesh off of corpses. These creatures exist somewhere between a state of life and death. Oftentimes, they were corrupt priests who committed evil acts in their lifetimes, and after death, they were cursed to be reborn into the world as monstrous creatures, eternally hungry for the bodies of the dead. Their existence is nothing but misery and suffering for them as they shamble through the night in search of bodies being prepared for funerary services. If they happen to meet a living priest, they will likely beg them to perform a holy ritual to finally set their soul free from their current disturbing state of being. If you like the video so far, don't forget to hit that like button, by the way. The Patasola is a monster originating from Colombian folklore, where she is said to walk the jungles and mountain ranges with a single foot ending in a cow-like hoof. In her natural state, she has bulging eyes, cat-like fangs, a single breast, and a distorted, misshapen face. Luckily for her, she is a shapeshifter and will often assume the appearance of a beautiful, seductive woman to lure hunters, loggers, and travelers away from the path and deep into the thick jungle. Once she has her unsuspecting victim alone and vulnerable, the creature reveals her true, horrifying appearance before attacking and devouring the man's flesh and drinking his blood with her fangs, similarly to a vampire. The moral of the story of the Patasola is that you shouldn't follow random hot women into the Colombian wilderness. So, in case you were thinking of doing that, now you know better. You're welcome. My channel is so useful and generally beneficial to society. According to Slavic mythology, a person born with 2 beating hearts and 2 sets of teeth is a Strzyga. These creatures look and act just like normal humans at first, but there are ways to tell them apart. Strzygas don't have any armpit hair, and they sleepwalk much more than normal people do. Eventually, they will pretty much always be discovered. I saw her armpits, and they're bald! The Strzyga would be chased out of their village by an angry mob, terrified of what comes next. Now alone and forsaken, cold and abandoned with no food or human connection, the Strzyga will probably die a sad, lonely death. But this is only the beginning. The Strzyga has 2 hearts, but it also has 2 souls. At the moment of death, only the human soul will pass to the afterlife, while the other awakens and takes over the Strzyga's body, transforming it into a demon resembling an owl that will fly through the night and prey on all living beings. These monsters can be satisfied with animal blood for a short time, but their favorite meal is the bodies of the humans that once hunted them. Under the cover of darkness, these undead creatures will attack travelers and wanderers in their forest territory, sucking out their blood and devouring their organs. Thanks again to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. Start fighting naval battles today using my link in the pinned comment or video description. The game is also available on consoles in the form of World of Warships Legends. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Alex, and I am really smart. Until next time, farewell!